one of the things it's our job to do as visionaries is to lift ourselves as leaders above the day-to-day. Being in Northwest Indiana like we are, we go at this time of the year even, we go to a lot of corn mazes. These corn mazes give you the ability to like navigate through a maze that, you know, can be challenging, can be vengeful, you know, it can be irritating, you know, depending on how you approach it. And we always watch people every year. One of the only reasons I go, the only reason Susan gets me to go, because she goes for the adventure, I go for the people watching. I love to watch people, and one of the reasons why I love to go to this, that, and the mall is how people respond to adversity. And one of the things that we do is that we will watch people go into these mazes and get so frustrated with lack of direction, lack of focus, and not know how to get out. And they just, the way they respond is incredible. One year I remember watching a young lady bring her little kids with her, and they'll say Tommy and Betty, right, just for the sake of names. And little Betty's in the stroller, and little Tommy's running beside it, and you know, and they're heading in. Everybody's excited. And this time of year, it can be 50 degrees one day, it can be 90 degrees the next day, as we're experiencing right now. And it was about 90 degrees, and she heads in, and she fails to realize that there is a little paper that you could get that navigates the maze. And she heads in, and Susan grabs a couple sheets of paper because she knows people always forget them. And she's always thinking about that. We head into the maze, and while we're walking through the maze, I see them, and they're coming back another way, and then I see them disappear down another row, and they come back a different way. And now I see, like, about the third or fourth time I see him, I hear her hollering, you know, Tommy. And one of the things she's telling us is to put the corn down. So he's picked up ears of corn, and he's chucking them at the walls in there, and even hit a couple people a couple times, and she's frustrated. And because Tommy's doing it, of course, little Betty has to throw something, and she chucks her little sippy cup, and now it's little holes are full with dirt, and now she's crying because it's hot, and she don't have anything to drink anymore, and Mom's just done. She's turned down one too many dead ends, and she gets to a point where she's just like, I'm done. And I tell Susan, like, that she needs a sheet of paper. She doesn't know where she is. You better get it to her. She's coming out of here. And it's funny, Susan will go up being kind like she is, and she'll hand them a sheet of paper. Or sometimes when they don't have a piece of paper, there's somebody elevated above the maze, and their job is to direct the path. And our job as leaders is to do that as well. Our job as leaders is to point people through our mazes, our maze of life, our maze of business, right? You know, counseling people, we help them navigate these dead ends of life, the hitting the ceiling moments. And if we don't do it, people respond the same way they respond in one of these mazes. And what we watched this lady do that day, because we can get to her in time, was pick up Tommy, put him in the stroller, and literally push her stroller right through the corn walls and come out the other side. And she just didn't care where she was coming out at that point. She stroller holed her way right through these corn walls and just bounced right out. And it was funny. It's just fun to watch, you know. And you can see when it happens because you're walking the maze, and there's multiple moms have done this because you can see corn walls laid down, and there's a straight path right out, right? And they can come out a mile away from their vehicle, but they're coming out. And I think that happens a lot in our businesses and our life as well, where people don't know how to navigate the maze, and they create distraction or destruction, and they just leave a mess in their wake, right? And if we as leaders would take the challenge to see it, to get there before, and maybe even point the vision for them, we would literally be able to change so many people's lives without destroying them. And I think that's the challenge I have for people is to be a steward of people's vision. And one way we can do that is by coming above the maze and looking around and being very open to seeing how people are struggling, not only in business but in life.